Okay guys, so here's the chain it came with, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12 links on here. So I took it off the cape here, and I actually like this one. Now, true, it may not be to scale, or it may not be screen accurate, but do I care? Nope, not at all. I just liked it better, and I think it might look a lot nicer, and it's a little bit bigger. So that's how I'm doing mine. You guys can do, if you decide to do this, any way you want. So what I will be doing is just getting the thread and needle and putting this one here right on there. Of course, just cut it with some wire cutters and hook it up. So that is what I will do. Again, it may not be to scale, but actually I kind of put it on there and it looks kind of nice. So I'll show the after. Let me see here. Okay, now we have the chain here, way long. Put the cape on behind him. Now the head is, it's nice and flush. Wrap this sucker around. Encapsulate the chain. All the way there looks good. So I'll just cut it right there. Okay, now keep in mind that if you do it the way I did it, you're going to have this right there. So if you don't like that, you want it to be like in the movie, then you can't do that. Now the other thing you can do is this. Hold on here. Now you can put it back the way it's meant to be, a little wobbly, but it will not fall off, but it will give you the look that you don't have the that inside showing. Of course, then you would have to cut the chain shorter if you want it to be seen. But in my case, I want it to the head to be nice and flush, so I'm leaving it like that. And again, the chain may not be the exact one or the right length, but I don't care. This looks nice to me. There's a saying Steve Wang says in his painting video that I have, and I really liked what he said there. The question is how do you know when something is painted the right way? And his saying is, if it looks cool, it usually is right. So to me, this looks cool, so it's right for me. Okay, as you can see, the eyes are painted on as always, and these are actually not bad at all. Normally I would cut into them and put glass eyes, but I found a better, easier way to make them look just as real. You can leave them as they are and just add the 5-minute epoxy, as I will show you in a bit, or you can add a little bit more texture to them, or little lines on the irises if you like, which that is what I'm going to do. Just a bit, just to give them some, a little bit more detail on there, on the iris part of it. So let's get this going. Okay, so I just mixed up, I got some brown, black, and blue of paint, and I'm actually just going to mix a little bit of the blue and black. Give them some lines on here. And I don't know if you can see that, but I mean, they're very subtle, but that's all I'm going to do. You really don't need to do this actually, but I kind of want something on the iris, so that's actually all I'm doing. Little tiny black lines. Of course you can take your time and do them like 100% perfect, but trust me, they will look better once you get the epoxy on there. Again, you don't really need to, and they're actually pretty good without all this. So let's get the epoxy mix. Okay, so I mixed up equal amounts of the 5-minute epoxy. Now I have a little bit of purple paint here. This recommended, actually Steve Wang recommended this to tint it. Well, not too much, but just, you know, enough to just mix it in, and this will avoid the epoxy to turn yellow. Okay, now what you want to do is pick up just a bit on the tip of a toothpick or whatever you have. I don't know if you can see this, but you just want to put it right on the iris area. To create the little bulge. You want to add a bit more and move it around to cover again the iris only. Once you have that, you leave it alone. Now if you keep it on its back like this, it will eventually start flattening out. So what you want to do, once you have it on there, want to tilt it this way, upside down, and just keep an eye on it, because this will set in about 4 minutes and 5 will be okay. You want to work with one eye first and then worry about the second one. So I would just be doing this until it sets, and then I'll work on the other eye. Okay, I went ahead and did the other eye, but you got the hang of it when I did the first one. It is now set. I haven't touched them at all. Once you have it on there, do not touch it again. You want to make sure once you get the little bulge, as I did in the first eye, leave it alone. So now they're about, you know, set. Okay, so I mixed up some more epoxy, the same process, a little bit of tint of purple, and now I'm just going to get a brush and brush over the whole eye. Nothing thick, just enough to give it a gloss all the way around the white and the bulge that you've created. Now it's a little warm here today, so this epoxy is actually drying quicker than normal. If that happens, you have to be quick. That's why you want to work with only one eye. Now you don't want to put too much on the brush, so I'm going to take some off. You just want to coat it to give it an even shine. Better. There we go. They look a lot nicer without the need of cutting up the silicone. And there you have it, guys. So hope this helps. And this not only works on 1/3 scale, I've done them on the 1/4 scale premium formats, and they look great. Alright, we'll let that dry, and see you next time, guys. Whoops.